Okay. Yes, hello. My name is Holger Bus. I will talk about wrack identification and photogrammetry. Actually, I started with photogrammetry here in the Baltic Sea because we found the well of the Elbing, and that was my first object. Just shortly to me, I'm an electronics engineer and a technical diver. I do photogrammetry since 2019, and wrack survey and identification is a hobby of me. And I have the website Dive3D.eu, where I collect all the data and models that I build. So let me just talk a little bit about wrack identification. So a classical identification looks like this. You make a sketch of the wrack. You have a measuring tape or something like that. And in this case, we have a wrack that is 61 meters. And then we have to make sketches of all the objects we find. And for the identification, we need the position of the wrack. So where is it in which sea and close to which city or whatever. And we have to make a description of the wrack. So is it a wooden wrack, an iron wrack? Does it have a machine, a steam machine or whatever? And we need the size and position of the masts. And then we can make then we have an idea what was the ship looking like. But in the meantime, there's a much better technique to make something like this. So it's photogrammetry. So photogrammetry is an optical method to scan a wrack. So we go down there, we dive there, we have cameras, we are scanning the wrack with cameras, and we are creating 3D models. And we can make it digitally or physically. The physically I will show you. And this allows a fast and accurate survey of the wreck site. So you in only one dive, you know exactly what you are having here. And you can see many details. So we have an example here. This is the Edith Busselmann. And this was made in, I think, 2 dives or something. The wreck is 52 meters deep. And for example, we have the compass housing here. And I can print it bigger. This is a 3D printed model. So we can see all the small details there. Let me tell you a little bit about how it works, how the technique works. It is based on the so-called stereoscopic effect. That is the same effect like we see with our eyes in 3 dimensions. So I have an example here. We have an object and 2 eyes, in this case, of course, cameras, and both see the 2 different images. One image and another image. And they look, on the first side, they look similar, but if you see all the details, they are different. And our brain manages it to make a 3D model of that. And this also works on computer models. And there's a second stereoscopic effect by moving. So you can create the same effect by just moving your position. It's looking like this. And if I move like this, you can understand how this object looks like. And when I scan a wreck, I swim a special path. So normally it's looking like this. I start like this, trying to get along the wreck. Sometimes, I think at least 3 times, or it depends on the visibility and how big it is. And I try to capture it in like this. So this is this would be the perfect path to scan a wreck. Let me just show you my scanning setup. It's an own design. I have 4 cameras and 3 lights, and it's foldable. So this is the camera. I have actually 1 light, another light, and another light, and attached are 4 cameras. And this is the compact thing, and I can unfold it underwater. And this is how it's looking like then. So here you can see 4 cameras. And then I'm swimming along the wreck and scanning everything. And then I'm recording videos, and these videos are cut into pictures. So I create thousands of pictures. And these pictures are fed into the software, and the software is doing a big puzzle game. So it's looking for overlapping areas, and then it tries to understand what was the shape. And then the software generates a mesh. So this is the surface of the object, or in this case, the wreck. And this can be used for a 3D printer. So basically, I just have to work a little bit more with other programs, but I can use it in a 3D printer, and it makes it from a kind of plastic. It's a thermal. It's melting under temperature, and it's made by a kind of plastic. And the bigger wrecks, I slice in pieces like this, and then I just glue them together, because the size of the printer is limited. And this is when it's glued together. Then I have to paint it, because just in black it doesn't look. It looks like nothing. And this is the Edith Busselmann. And during the last year, I can say about 12 months, I did this with several wrecks in the Baltic Sea. And this is my small collection. There's Edith Busselmann, Elbing. This is a wreck with iron trails. This was the torpedo boat Sabine was talking about, and some others are the submarine U-580 and some bells. This is the small ship in front of the castle, actually. And now I will talk about three of them. First, I start with the Carl Zeiss, and then I will talk about these. Okay, so Carl Zeiss was a German ship. It was a Schulschiff. It was a training ship. It was a training ship for artillery, so they were measuring distances to other ships. In the Second World War. And it sunk in October 1944, close to Mabel Harbor. It was 79 meters long, and I scanned this wreck in only one single dive. And we had a poor visibility, actually. And this was the visibility. So here we can see the propeller. I think the visibility might be, I don't know, 6 or 7 meters, or maybe even less. So here you can see a strange object, and here a box with a round thing. But when you dive, you cannot really know, or you don't know what does the wreck look like. But that works quite well when you have a finished model. So this was the result of this one dive. So I started here diving, then I went here, something like this, covered the machine room, and then I came back like this. Let me show you what the wreck was looking like before. So this is an image of the Schulschiff Carl Zeiss. And we can compare it here with some parts. For example, this is one of these instruments for measuring the distances. But I found some other interesting things. This is the printed model. Looks quite nice. And I found some pictures, historical pictures of persons who were on the ship. And here we have a sailor standing in the back of the wreck, of the ship. He was standing here. And you can see a mooring part here. I find it here again. And here was a box. You can see it here also, and there's a hole here in the deck. And you can see this one. There's another one. So you can use historical pictures and the 3D model for identification. Here in another part, this is the bow. And if I make the detailed comparisons, you can see even the welding areas here. And you can compare it with the historical pictures. So it's like a fingerprint. So you can use the pictures and the model like a fingerprint. That makes the identification quite easy, actually. And this is the model. The model itself is also in the museum, but it's not in the exhibition right now. Later. Okay. So this was the first wreck. So let me talk about another wreck. Actually, this wreck I'm talking about now, we were diving there 2 weeks ago. And for me, it was the first time I was on this wreck. It is lying here. We are here actually right now. And this is the position of the wreck. And when we dived there, Lena's told us it might be a field of iron wrecks. And at minimum 2 wrecks, maybe even 3 wrecks. Because the other divers, they all found different parts of wrecks and they didn't understood what they saw and they thought there were at least 2 wrecks. And one steam boiler is about 150 meters away. Then I dived there, or we dived there in a team. And first we started here. And I thought this could be one of the smaller wrecks. Then we dived here in the bow section. But during the dive, I didn't really understand that it's a bow section. I just saw a very big area of the wreck. Then I went here, and I was lucky because I went to this area. That was really luck that I got this big area also. And then after the dive, we were talking about this wreck and nobody understood really what was it looking like. And then I was calculating this wreck overnight, and on the next day I presented this picture to my buddies, and we decided to make a second dive there because we understood that it's only one wreck. We had a bow and we had a stern area, and the wreck is only fallen in different pieces. So we decided to make a second dive, and this was the scan of that dive. So now I exactly knew what it was looking like, and it was easier to make a complete scan. And my buddies were measuring from here to there, and it was 59 meters. Almost 60 meters. And then I can calculate in the software, I can measure in the software the sizes of the different parts, and I saw that the original size was about 51 meters. It was just broken here in 2 pieces. This is the 3D printed model. I have all the models here. You can see it in the break. And now we know it was a 50 meters wreck with a machine in the back, and it has a special 2-cylinder steam machine. So I was inspecting the machine also. And this could be a sketch how it was looking like. And then I was searching for ships which are lost in the area of Klaipeda. And I covered an area of 30 sea miles, and I was searching in archives and lists and everything. And I found only one wreck that was matching. Only one had the machine in the back and the size of 51 meters. And this was the steamship Anna Katrin Fritzen. And this German steamer sank in July 1942, and it was sunk by a submarine. In the morning, they started at Libau, and they wanted to go to Danzig. And at 8:30, they were at Klaipeda, and I found the war diary of the submarine, and they spotted this convoy at 11 o'clock. And the convoys were coming, the ship was coming towards the submarine. And at 11:50, they fired a torpedo and sunk the ship. And the funny thing, at least for me, is that the home port of the Katrin Fritzen is Emden, and this is only 15 kilometers from my hometown. So you just must imagine, I travel to Lithuania, I'm diving there and find a ship of my hometown. And this was a picture of it. You can see the machine is in the back because it had the funnel here, yeah, and the masts. And when I saw the picture, I knew immediately that it was the ship we were searching for. And then I was searching for more data of this ship, and I found something in the so-called Geheimes Preußisches Staatsarchiv. It is the secret Prussia State Archive, and it's in Berlin. And they had some pages of the accident or of the fate of the ship. And I found the crew list. There was also the crew list. Right now I'm working on to find out some family members of these. But I was lucky because one of the survivors was in Dembeck, and I was looking into the telephone book, and there was actually Dembeck in Emden, and I found the grandson of one of the sailors who survived. And this is actually the Albert Dembeck. He was one of the 3 survivors. Okay, so these were already 2 wrecks. So now my last wreck. It's also very exciting because it's a wooden ship, and I dived there 2019, and yeah, this is how it was looking like, or is looking like. We had a measuring tape, and we tried to make a sketch of this wreck. And we were lucky because we found the bell. So this was the bell. Actually, this is the bell we have here. And it was covered with sand, so we can see the name of the wreck. So it was WARRE. The name of the ship was WARRE. I made a 3D model of this bell, and the bell had an inscription. It was Ship WARRE of Hull, 1806, CP and Co. And it was owned by Clarkson, Peterson and Sharp. This was how it was looking like. It was a vessel used, original built for transporting cargo. And it was built in Great Britain, and it traveled to India, had cargo like iron, wood and wheat, and was even used for whale fishing in South Africa for some years. It went to Honduras and all over the world. So I made a report, so you can see all the history of the ship in my report. And what happened? Why did it sink? I found in a Londoner newspaper that several ships were captured in ice close to Memel. And it is written that the WARRE makes little bit water, so it had a little damage. But she was expected to get off with a moderate expense, so not a big thing, they thought. So this was one of the last pictures of her. There's a painting of ships covered in ice. And then, one day later in the newspaper, they wrote, the WARRE was totally lost near Memel on the 12th of April. So that was the fate of the ship. And this year I made the 3D model of it. It's really a nice model. And I have also a 3D printed model, so you can see it here also. And the bell that we found was around here. You can see it here. This is also my 3D model. It's not a photograph, it's a model. Here, this was how the bell was laying there. And because it was obviously that there is this bell, and every other diver could easily take it away and steal it. There were discussions to get it out, to recover this bell, and actually this happened this month. So in September 2022, the team was recovering the bell, and this is Andre. This is the one buddy who was with me in 2019 when I found the bell. So he put the bell into a bag, and they used a lift bag and the shot line to get it out very carefully. And this is the team which recovered the bell. Okay, that's it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I think we do not have time for the questions. Maybe we should leave them at the end of the discussion, which is going to be after the conference.